This segment featuring the iDrive program is sponsored by AAA Mid-Atlantic.
Well, we are on the road today and very excited about being here at a very realistic setting for kids to see what happens on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Another 300 of the 600 total students from Chesterfield County Public Schools are here today. They're spending part of their classroom in the courtroom, as Bill found out yesterday.
AAA presents iDrive, and the theme here is safe, sober, and focused. And I kind of imagine after the kids go through the mock trials that we have here for them, there'll be all of those things. I want to start with a police officer from Chesterfield County, Officer Brumbaugh, and you spoke to the kids after the trial was over and told them one of your key responsibilities is investigating a certain kind of accident. What is that?
We investigate the fatal crashes or near fatal crashes that occur within Chesterfield County.
And I would imagine as a police officer, one of the worst jobs, as a parent, I would imagine one of the worst jobs you can have is to call some parent and meet some parent and tell them their child has been killed in a car accident.
Unfortunately, Chesterfield leads the Commonwealth, or typically leads the Commonwealth in fatal crashes. That's the worst part of the job, is 2 o'clock in the morning knocking on a parent's door and saying your loved one isn't coming home.
And this happens. I mean, it's not something that's on TV. It actually happens. You do it not all the time, but it is part of your job.
And that's what we try to reiterate. I do this program in addition to some programs at the school, and we try to get the kids to understand that this is not something that happens to the kid down the street. It's a very real part of the Chesterfield community, and as I said, unfortunately we have the distinction of leading the Commonwealth, so it's something that has to be driven home, especially to our young people.
It's a very realistic court drama, so to speak, and I noticed with your testimony, very fact-driven, and these were real cases that have happened in Chesterfield, and part of this was presenting all the facts, what the conditions were like, and what was going on. I would imagine that a lot of kids are shocked that there's that much detail coming from the investigating officer.
Very, very detailed. What a lot of them don't know is I record the traffic stop. I record it so that I have that much detail later, because the defense attorneys are very good at what they do. The Commonwealth is good, and I want to make sure that I can present, I have an obligation not only to the citizens of Chesterfield, but to everybody. So I want to make sure that I can provide as much detail and fact as I can.
Let's go down to the Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney and Melissa Hoyt. Now, Melissa, one of the things that I picked up from this was how quick things moved, and these were real cases, weren't they?
It moves very quickly. Whether you're an adult or a juvenile, traffic court goes very quickly. And so, as I said at the end, like that, your license and your freedom can be gone in 5 minutes.
This is not one of those TV cases that goes on for weeks. I mean, the officer probably spoke the longest of anybody with the details, and then you got right to the case. And you see this all the time.
It's true. And the only difference that we would have in a real life scenario is that the person's parents would be there because they're in juvenile court, and there may be some more interaction between the judge and the parents as to what they specifically did in response to the situation that occurred, but it happens that quickly every day.
All right. I'm going to skip over you because you were one of the defendants, the pretend defendants, and go over to Judge Charlie. Your Honor, one of the most powerful people in our society is a judge like yourself. You mentioned to the kids you can reach into their lives and change their lives. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I would certainly hope that if we're changing their lives, we're changing their lives for the better. But it's consequences, and the understanding that your actions have consequences. And that's what the court's really trying to bring to make these young folks aware that everything they do has a consequence.
And you have the power to say you can't play soccer, or you can't go to Boy Scout meeting, or whatever. The last scenario we were talking about somebody going to Harvard, and you said, "Good thing you're already accepted."
That's the truth. College applications now have the question, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Have you ever had to go to detention? Things of that nature. And it would be a blemish on that college application. But the great thing about the juvenile court system in Virginia is that the General Assembly has given judges so much authority that they can be creative in their sentencing, so that it's not all about going to detention or paying a fine or doing community service. It actually can be more creative like that. Like, you're not going to play soccer.
Let's go back to the defendant now. Not really, but this was a real case, and they substituted your name. This was pretty scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really scary. But I know that if I ever did something like that, it would have been even scarier, especially going to detention for 10 days and having that forever behind you, that if you mess up again, you're going back for the other 20.
Yeah. Thank you very much, all of you. This is a great service. A long time ago, they used to just take us out in front of the school and show us a crashed car. And we all thought, that couldn't happen to us. These kids are seeing it can happen to you. And thank you for the service you're providing. Thanks to AAA, I'm Bill Bevins on Virginia This Morning.